O for a Muse of Fire, by Chorus from Henry V, Act 1, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English by Caveat. O for a muse of fire, that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, and gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France, or maybe cram within this wooden O the very cask that did affright? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this greater compt, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts, and into 1,000 parts divide on man, and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses that you see them printing their proud hooves in the receiving earth, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings. Carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply admit me chorus to this history, who prologue like your humble patient pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play. End of O for a Muse of Fire, from Henry V, Act 1, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain.
The Quality of Mercy is Not Strained, by Portia, from The Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org, by Cordelia Glendy. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly power doth then show likest God's, where mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. End of The Quality of Mercy is Not Strained, by Portia, from The Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain.
Thou Nature art my goddess, by Edmund, from King Lear, Act 1, Scene 2, read in English for librivox.org, by Caveat. Thou, Nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true, as honest madam's issue, why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base? Base! Who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale
Tired, bed, go to creating a whole tribe of bops, got tween sleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund, as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards. End of Thou Nature Art My Goddess. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. To Bait Fish Withal by Shylock, from The Merchant of Venice. Act 3, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Caveat. To bait fish withal, if it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me, and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's his reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer, as a Christian is? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why, revenge. The villainy you teach me I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will be better the instruction. End of To Bait Fish Withal. This recording is in the public domain. Why man, he doth bestride the narrow world, by Cassius, from Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 2, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Caveat. Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonourable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together. Yours is as fair a name. Sound them. It doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them. It is as heavy. Conjure with them. Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. Now, in the names of all the gods at once, upon what meat does this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods, when went there by an age since the great flood, but it was famed with more than with one man. When could they say till now, that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompassed but one man? Now is it Rome indeed, and room enough, when there is in it but one only man? Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king. End of Why Man He Doth Bestride the Narrow World, from Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown, by Ophelia, from Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Jen Broda. Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown! The courtiers, scholars, soldiers, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mould of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to've seen what I have seen, see what I see. End of Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. From Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Jen Broda.
Leonato's Garden by Beatrice, from Much Ado About Nothing, Act 3, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Jules 11. What fire is in mine ears? Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt, farewell, and maiden pride, adieu. No glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedict, love on. I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in a holy band. For others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it, better than reporting thee. End of Leonato's Garden, from Much Ado About Nothing, Act 3, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain. Out Damned Spot by Lady Macbeth. Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1 by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Jules 11. Yet here's a spot. Out. Damned spot. Out, I say. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier and afeard. What need we fear? Who knows it? And none can call our power to account. Yet, who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting. Here's the smell of the blood. Still, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out one his grave. To bed, to bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone.
Too bad, too bad, too bad.
End of Out Damn Spot from Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain.
So you must be the first that gives this sentence. By Isabella. From Measure for Measure, Act 2, Scene 2. By William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org. By Joanna Michael Hoyt. So, you must be the first that gives this sentence, and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant. Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would ne'er be quiet, for every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolt split'st the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as make the angels weep, who with our spleens would all themselves laugh mortal. End of. So you must be the first that gives this sentence. From Measure for Measure, Act 2, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain.
A time methinks too short to make a world without end bargain in by the Princess from Love's Labour's Lost, Act 5, Scene 2, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Hannah Dormer. A time methinks too short to make a world without end bargain in. No, no, my lord, your grace is perjured much, full of dear guiltiness, and therefore this. If for my love, as there is no such cause, you will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote from all the pleasures of the world. There stay until the 12 celestial signs have brought about the annual reckoning. If this austere and sociable life change not your offer made in heat of blood, if frosts and fasts, hard lodging and thin weeds nip not the gaudy blossoms of your love, but that it bear this trial and last love, then, at the expiration of the year, come challenge me. Challenge me by these deserts, and by this virgin palm now kissing thine, I will be thine. Until that instant shut my woeful self up in a mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let our hands part, neither entitled in the other's heart. End of A Time Methinks Too Short to Make a World Without Bargain in, from Love's Labour's Lost, Act 5, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain. Read by Hannah Dormer, London, UK. Good Lord Boyer, my beauty though but mean, by the Princess from Love's Labour's Lost, Act 2, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Hannah Dormer. Good Lord Boyer, my beauty, though but mean, needs not the painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by the judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of chapmen's tongues. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than you much willing to be counted wise in spending your wit in the praise of mine. But now to task the tasker. Good Boyer, you are not ignorant all-telling fame doth noise abroad. Navarre hath made a vow, till painful study shall outwear 3 years, no woman may approach his silent court. Therefore too seemeth it a needful course, before we enter his forbidden gates, to know his pleasure. And in that behalf, bold of your worthiness, we single you as our best moving fair solicitor. Tell him, the daughter of the King of France, on serious business, craving quick dispatch, importunes personal conference with his grace. Haste, signify so much while we attend, like humble-visaged suitors, his high will. End of Good Lord Boyer, my beauty though but mean, from Love's Labour's Lost, Act 2, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain. Read by Hannah Dormer, London, UK.
Now might I do it pat, now he is praying. by Hamlet. From Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 3, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do the same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in't. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays, this physic but prolongs thy sickly days. End of Now Might I Do It, Pat. Now He is Praying. From Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 3. This recording is in the public domain. Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame, by Polonius. From Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them unto thy soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel. But being in, bear that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thine ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are most select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessings season this in thee. End of Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame. From Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3. This recording is in the public domain. Alas, poor Yorick. By Hamlet. From Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chop-fallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her let her paint an inch thick, To this favour she must come. Make her laugh at that. End of Alas, Poor Yorick, from Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Macbeth, from Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 5 by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Andrew Gauntz. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. End of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, from Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 5. This recording is in the public domain.
Macbeth by Lady Macbeth, from Act 5, Scene 5, Line 5, Prose, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org. By Refilwe Balor. They met me in the day of success, and I've learned by the perfectest report. They have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me, Thane of Corder, by which title before this word sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming of time, with hail king that shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou might not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art encoded, shalt be. What thou art promised, yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full, oh, the milk of human kindness, to catch the nearest way. Thou would be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou would highly, that would thou holily would not play false, and yet would wrongly win. Thou have great Glamis, that which cries, this thou must do, if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wishest should undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirit in thine ear, and chastise with valour of my tongue. End of Macbeth by Lady Macbeth, from Act 5, Line 5, Scene 5, Prose. This recording is in the public domain.
I, Edward, will use women honourably. By Gloucester, from Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2. By William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I, Edward, will use women honourably. Would he were wasted, marrow, bones, and all, that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring, to cross me from the golden time I look for. And yet between my soul's desire and me, the lustful Edward's title buried, is Clarence, Henry, and his son young Edward, and all the unlooked-for issue of their bodies, to take their rooms ere I can place myself. a cold premeditation for my purpose. Why then, I do but dream on sovereignty, like one that stands upon a promontory, and spies a far-off shore where he would tread, wishing his foot were equal with his eye, and chides the sea that sunders him from thence, saying he'll lade it dry to have his way. So do I wish the crown, being so far off. And so I chide the means that keeps me from it, and so I say, I'll cut the causes off, flattering me with impossibilities. My eyes too quick, my heart o'erweens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought, and more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity, to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlicked bear whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? O monstrous fault to harbor such a thought! Then, since this earth affords no joy to me, but to command, to check, to o'erbear such as are of better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshapen trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home, and I, like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown. And from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile, and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and, like a Sinon, take another Troy. I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this, and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it farther off, I'll pluck it down. End of I, Edward Will Use Women Honorably, from Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain.
If We Shadows Have Offended, by Puck, from A Midsummer's Night's Dream, Act 5, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English by Celia Adjabu. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands, if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. End of If We Shadows Have Offended, by Puck, from A Midsummer's Night's Dream, Act 5, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Celia Ajibu.
Fear No More the Heat of the Sun, by Guiderius and Arviragus, from Cymbeline, Act 4, Scene 2, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Alan Mapstone. Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and ta'en thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepings, come to dust. Fear no more the frown of the great, thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat, to thee the reed is as the oak. The sceptre, learning, physic must all follow this, and come to dust. Fear no more the lightning flash, nor the all-dread thunderstone. Fear not slander, censure rash, thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee, and come to dust. No exorciser harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee. Ghost unlaid forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee. Quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave. End of Fear No More the Heat of the Sun, from Cymbeline, Act 4, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain.
I Know Thee Not, Old Man, by King Henry V, from King Henry IV, Act 5, Scene 5, by William Shakespeare, read in English by librivox.org by Caveat. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs become a fool and jester. I have long dreamt of such a kind of man, so surfeit swelled, so old and so profane. But being waked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away my former self, so will I those that kept me company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then I banish thee, on pain of death. As I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile. For competence of life I will allow you, that lack of means enforce you not to evils, and, as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to your strengths and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word. Set on. End of I Know Thee Not, Old Man, from King Henry IV, Act 5, Scene 5. This recording is in the public domain.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? By Lady Macbeth. From Macbeth's Castle, Act 1, Scene 7, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Maguvon. Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale? At what did it so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat I'd dash? What beast was thee then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now doesn't make you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums, and dashed the brains out, had I sworn as you have done to this. End of Was the Hope Drunk Wherein You Dress Yourself? Hath It Slept Since? From Macbeth's Castle, Act 1, Scene 7. This recording is in the public domain.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? By Juliet, from Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Casey Cassess. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself not a Montague. What's a Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all of myself. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? From Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Casey Cassess. What angel wakes me from my flowery bed? By Titania from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 3, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Casey Cassess. What angel wakes me from my flowery bed? I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamoured of thy note, so is mine eye enthralled by thy shape, and thy fair virtue's force perforce doth move me, on the first view, to say, to swear, I love thee. Thou art wise as thou art beautiful. Out of this wood do not desire to go. Thou shalt remain here, whether thou wilt or no. I am a spirit of no common rate. The summer still doth tend upon my state, and I do love thee. Therefore, go with me. I'll give thee fairies to attend on thee, and they shall fetch thee jewels from the deep, and sing while thou on pressed flowers dost sleep. And I will purge thy mortal grossness, so that thou shalt like an airy spirit go. End of What Angel Wakes Me from My Flowery Bed, from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 3, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Casey Cassess. Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. By Titania, from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1, by William Shakespeare, read in English for librivox.org by Casey Cassess. Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night, full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood, when we have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind. which she with pretty and with swimming gait following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land, to fetch me trifles, and return again, as from a voyage, rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die, and for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him. End of Set Your Heart at Rest, The Fairy Lamb Buys Not the Child of Me, from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Casey Cassess.
I, Edward, will use women honourably, by Gloucester, from King Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2, by William Shakespeare. Read in English for librivox.org by Caveat. I, Edward, will use women honourably. Would he were wasted, marrow, bones and all, that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring, to cross me from the golden time I look for. And yet, between my soul's desire and me, the lustful Edward's title buried, is Clarence, Henry, and his son young Edward, and all the unlooked-for issue of their bodies, to take their rooms ere I can place myself. A cold premeditation for my purpose. Why, then, I do but dream on sovereignty, like one that stands upon a promontory, and spies a far-off shore where he would tread, wishing his foot were equal with his eye, and chides the sea that sunders him from thence, saying, he'll lade it dry to have his way. So do I wish the crown, being so far off, and so I chide the means that keeps me from it. And so I say, I'll cut the causes off, flattering me with impossibilities. My eye's too quick, my heart overweens too much. Unless my hand and strength could equal them, well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought! And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and, for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did to corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity to mock my body, to shape my legs of unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlicked bear-whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous fault to harbour such a thought! Then, since this earth affords no joy to me, but to command, to check, to overbear such as are of better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home, and I, like one lost in a thorny wood, that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and, like a Sinon, take another Troy. I can add colours to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this, and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it farther off, I'll pluck it down. End of I, Edward Will Use Women Honourably. From King Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2. This recording is in the public domain.